Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pairfect, Daily Tribune's digital show that takes you up close and personal with trailblazers and winners in their field. I am Dinah Ventura. I'm very happy to have with me today the woman who is running what is considered to be the coolest place to be nowadays. Please welcome developer Maya Katigbak-Colayco, the brains and the heart behind Comuna.
Yes, thank you, Dina. Good
Welcome to
afternoon. Thank you.
Pairfect.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So, Comuna,
Yes.
coolest.
Coolest, diba?
Did you hear about that? I mean, did
Well,
anybody tell you that
I've
that's the...
heard from the Gen Z
All right.
and the artists.
Well, so tell us
Yes.
about how it came about. It opened in 2023, you were telling me
Yes.
earlier.
Yeah. So we have the long background, but maybe I'll skip the construction part,
Yeah.
which we had a little bit of a story about.
Yes.
I think
Hilarious.
maybe what we can do is we can jump ahead to how we actually designed the courtyard and the new space behind it, which sort of became the heart of Comuna, di ba?
Okay, sige.
Kwento ko yung why it's called Comuna later, but I was telling you about how we bought the property, wanted
Yeah.
to just tenant it, and then figure out what to do with the rear.
Okay.
But like I mentioned, my mom, so we're a small family corporation. My mom is, I think, expressing her 50 years of development, like philosophy, what she learned, how she wants to use a space in this property. This is
Okay.
like her culminating, parang her
Project.
culminating project,
All right.
exactly. Like
Okay.
graduating from development into this one.
Okay.
So she said, like I mentioned, she goes, I'm 70 years old.
Okay.
When I enter a space, I want to feel good. And then when I go in there, I want to stay. Diba? So
Okay.
that's sort of, interesting. It's not a specific guideline, but it lets you know that she really wants people to have that
Space.
same kind of experience. So anyway, so we were getting a lot of bad designs for the place in the beginning. It
Okay.
was normal, I think, for an architect to say, let's build you leasable space. Sayang yung lupa. Kasi Makati.
Oo nga,
Di ba,
sayang.
sayang yung lupa, we should build you something you can earn money from. And then, so we're getting a building, little pocket gardens. And then she said, hindi, para malinaw, sayangin nyo yung lupa. O yan, o diba? So flat out would tell them
Okay.
to do that. So we couldn't actually get the proper design until I called up a friend of mine who's not technically a practicing architect because he works for a big infra company. So that's Sylvester Wong, who works for ACOM. Then I said, Sil, this is what's happening. I gave him the background, and he's American. So he said, I think your mom doesn't want a mall or a building. She wants a lifestyle center.
Okay.
Sabi ko, tama.
He got it. He got the idea.
You know,
right away.
diba? Sounds
Yeah.
about right. So he said, tell me, give me the CAD files. Let's see what I can do. Sent him the CAD files, and he sketched something, which is the basis for what's now Comuna, which is basically, it's that building in the front and a big garden in the back.
At the
So like
back.
2/3 of the
Wonderful.
property in his original idea was a garden. Diba? So like, okay, sounds good. Then
Okay.
he said, I can't do the design development because I have a job, diba? So he goes, I'm gonna get my local partners to design it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm like, okay, sounds good, local partner. Local partner comes in and it's a Spanish guy.
Okay.
Okay, O, diba? We're like, how was this guy local?
Yeah.
Diba? But anyway, I mean, I think that perspective was very important because he saw the need for open space, a courtyard, open circulation. So basically, there's a building, and each floor has a 4-meter deep terrace.
Nice.
Imagine, so your hallways,
Yeah.
instead of this little 1-meter hallway where you pass
Oo.
from one door to another, these places were created for circulation.
Breathing space.
Breathing space, diba? So yun, that was his architectural vision, right?
Okay.
And he called it Comuna. And I know it's Comuna because I asked him how to pronounce
Yes.
it kasi Spanish, diba?
Oo.
So he writes it down.
I
He
thought
goes,
it was
"Oh,
Comuna.
Comuna. But I think if we're English speaking, it's Comuna, but because he's Spanish, it's Comuna.
Comuna.
Like, okay, I accept. Comuna. Yeah. So anyway, so he said, a Comuna is actually a Latin American informal informal settlement, o diba? Squatter area. But he said, but let's not, you can edit that out. But he said, parang it's characterized by a lot of outdoor space and a central courtyard where people meet, congregate, and share resources.
Connect.
connect, and that was his vision, di ba? So
We need more spaces like that.
He did, di ba? Ganon. So what he did, so anyway, designed it, and then, the designer leaves. We finished building it. My mom finished it with, di ba, in her usual way, which is, I'll put, I'll buy tiles from Wilcon, I will do it, I'll make it look beautiful, and I'll take my time doing it. And it was about a year after we finished the design, we're being built, and then I started looking for people to occupy it.
Yes.
Diba? So this is pandemic, and we're thinking, who's gonna wanna take this place in pandemic? Because it's a little bit out of the way. I mean, it's in Makati, but on the edge of Makati. It's not near a big residential area, diba? Sabi ko, ano kaya? So originally, we wanted like a destination F&B place. Like parang place for people to come to eat.
Eat.
What industry died during pandemic? F&B, diba? So all of us were like, kaming dalawa, diba? Or like, paano na kaya to? Are we like pursuing some super eccentric dream of building a beautiful building with a garden and a courtyard and big spaces? Who's gonna come? So anyway, because you can see I'm very madaldal, I talk to a lot of people, diba? My sister knows that. So it started, so I want to say ground zero of the Comuna part was, you meet all of these guys later when you go there, is a guy, called Bot Solina, Filipino-Australian, who owns Electric Studio. So I was thinking, I was working out at the gym he was working at. Sabi ko, nice to have a gym kasi people want to work out. So I said, no, I won't put a gym there, but I'm going to put a new business that my brothers and I want. It's teeth whitening. So it's going to be weird. So you're like, bakit may teeth whitening dito? Diyan actually nag-umpisa yung lahat. Then he said, I have my sister, my wife and my sister, their whole family, they're into restaurants. I didn't know anybody working in restaurants at that time. We're normal real estate people lang. Then he said, let's invite them to come. Maybe they want to see something. So his sister-in-law, turns out, is friends with, business partners with Dwight Co. So Dwight owns a lot of small independent food lines, Foul Bread, Bad Bird, ayan, mga yan, and very plugged into sort of, you want to say, the taste makers, independent, like the cool, independent food makers. I said, he liked it, and he owns the line of Lowbrow and also Pepper PH. Diba? Yan, kaya may yan na yung core namin. Dwight, right away, took a place. It's his commissary in a small cafe for Lowbrow. Invites his friend Dan Matutina to come in. So Dan, I didn't know at that time, introduced to me completely blind, diba? A king of the cool kids. It's okay, I call him that naman. This is not something new. So anyway, so because of Dan, actually, who I think circulates in the world of like really great branding, diba? Very interesting branding, and also the whole independent restaurant scene, diba? So Dan sees it, he said, oh, parang ganda ng place. So for these first three people, it's like they discovered the place, diba? So you give the artists and the creatives the idea that they discovered a new cool place in Makati. Ayan na, they bring their friends in.
Okay, so that's how it grew.
That's how it started, diba? So parang alam nila na dance in there, dance in. Ito talaga, he goes, what do you like? Like, what stuff? Then I said, I like beer. And he said, I have friends who make beer.
Okay,
diba?
so
I have
brewery.
friends who have a brewery and are looking for a place to locate their brewery and their tap room. Then he goes, meet them. So, chill lang yan. Meet them. If you guys get along with each other, they like the place, they'll locate there. So that's sort of how the place was peopled. Pasok si beer, parang, and then friends, his friends own the coffee shop in there, Annie Cafe.
Galing, really like how a community grows.
Yeah, and then just, and then, because it's a very small community, right? And it just happens that it's a very high quality community because of the core group.
Yes.
Diba? I mean, you have these guys who are, we locked out, tastemakers.
Tastemakers.
We didn't look for them. They came,
It just happened.
it just happened. Sabi ka nga, of all the gin joints and all the towns in all the world, you walked into mine. So that's how lucky I feel about the people who populated it. So yun na. So we had beer, we had coffee. Good start, right?
Yes. Perfect.
And then we had, parang okay na, hindi na ako alis dito. And then after that, so you had, in one weekend, another friend brought them, but also in the same group, Manila Middle Ground, who is basically made up of graphic designers and
Yes.
illustrators. It's their sort of their way of sort of giving to the community of that whole design community. And then you also had a family that owns an art gallery, o, di ba? So yan, okay na yan, di ba? And then of
Creatives.
course you had my sister and her husband, Good Intentions Books. These are both, they're very humble, but they're both award-winning writers, both of them, o, di ba?
I'm in the presence of.
Oh, di ba? So yun siya. So they so it's their space there is part bookstore, but it's really their office for where they get their commission work. So yun siya. So meron ka ng food, may art, may graphic design, may literature, di ba?
Literature, yeah.
And then who came back after that? That's pretty much the core of it. And then after that, so my friend Sylvester, the first guy I called, came back. And then he said, oh, I love this place. I'm going to open a co-working/events place. Okay lang. I said, as long as you're here, I don't care what you open, you're there. And then, so he opened that. And then he invited his friend, an architect, Kathy Saldana, to open her office there. Diba? So, ayun na. So even they're all design related.
Yes.
So even the, I call us the grown-ups, are still designers, right? And then my very last one, I mean, this is the one I feel super lucky to have gotten, is JJ Acuna.
Acuna, yes.
Diba? So he came in, he was I think, he's really mostly Hong Kong, diba?
Yeah,
He's Hong
half
Kong.
the time.
Half the time. Then he was looking, he built up the beginning of a practice here during pandemic, looking for a permanent space.
Ayan.
Sylvester brought him in, there's a Hong Kong connection. Then he said, I love the space. Is there anything left? And he got the last place. I told him, I said, JJ, that space was going to find the right person for it, and it's you. Ayan, buo na yung community.
Yay.
Sorry, meron pa, I haven't mentioned everyone. We have a bakery and then I have an ice cream place as well. So yan, hindi ka nakaalis,
Ay,
diba?
may kanalas. Pagpunta mo doon.
Diba? Okay ka na, okay ka na.
Great. So was
Yeah.
that something that crossed your mind when you were designing it with your mom? Like, talagang empty canvas.
Honestly, this is, if we were thinking of what would have been our ideal community, we wouldn't have had the imagination to imagine a group like this. This is better than anything we imagined.
Serendipitous.
Honestly, super.
Okay, on that note, we'll just take a short break. We'll talk more about
Sure.
your plans for the coming year, for the coming
Ayan.
months.
This public service announcement is brought to you by Meralco.
Magandang araw mga kaliwanag at gayon din sa ating mga katribo. Formal lang inanunsyo ng Pag-asa na tapos na ang El Niño season sa bansa. Nagsisimula na rin ang sunod-sunod na pag-ulan sa maraming bahagi ng Pilipinas kasama ng Metro Manila, kaya inaasahan ng ahensya na pagdating ng Hulyo ay maaring magsimula na rin ang La Niña. Kami po sa Meralco ay nakahanda na sa mga maaring maging epekto ng tag-ulan. Patuloy ang koordinasyon ng kumpanya sa Department of Energy, Energy Regulatory Commission at iba pang ahensya ng gobyerno na involved sa public service. Lalong-lalo na sa mga local government units ng mga lugar na nasasakop ng aming prangkisa. Kung napapansin po ninyo, mas pinaigting pa namin ang pagsasagawa ng maintenance at upgrading work sa aming mga pasilidad para masiguro na kakayanin ng aming facility sakaling magkaroon ng mga malalakas na bagyo. Bukod dito, tuloy-tuloy din po ang aming inisyatiba sa wire clearing operations sa ilalim ng aming anti-urban blight program. At hindi rin tumitigil ang aming tree trimming activities para maiwasan ang mga posibleng aksidente dahil sa mga ulan o bagyo. Bago matapos itong digital explainer na ito mga kaliwanag at mga katribo, meron po akong iiwang mga tips para sa inyo. Una, dapat po ay updated tayo sa mga balita at alam natin kung anong mga paparating na bagyo sa ating lugar. Bago pa man tumama ang nasabing bagyo, siguraduhin naka-charge ang mga cellphone nyo, power banks at iba pang rechargeable na items at appliances, lalo na yung mga importante tulad ng electric fan at mga ilaw. I-ready na rin natin ang ating mga flashlights at mga kandila. Kung hindi natin maiiwasang gamitin, make sure safe po tayo. Para kung magkaroon man ng power interruption dahil sa bagyo o malakas na ulan, ay may magagamit tayo agad. Mag-imbak din tayo ng sapat na pagkain at tubig sa bahay para handa tayo kung hindi pa man ligtas lumabas. Kapag naman ho pinasok ang ating bahay ng baha, siguraduhin nakapatay ang linya ng kuryente o ang main circuit breaker. Lumabas lang kung kailangan. Gumamit ng kapote, rubber boots kung lulusong sa baha bilang dagdag proteksyon sa aksidente at sa sakit. Dapat din tuyo ang mga kamay bago humawak ng anumang pasilidad ng kuryente. Pero kung hindi naman kailangan, wag na ho ninyong gawin. Tanggalin na rin sa pagkakasaksak ang mga kagamitang may kuryente. Kapag humupa na ang baha, para rin sa kaligtasan ng lahat, ipacheck po sana natin sa lisensyadong electrician ang mga saksakan at wiring sa bahay bago gamitin. At kung sa hindi inaasang pagkakataon, magkaroon ng mga power interruptions o power outages, paki-message nyo po kami sa official social media account ng Meralco o kaya tumawag sa aming hotline na makikita sa screen. Ilan lamang po ito sa aming munting paalala mula sa inyong Manong Joe. Hangad po namin ang kaligtasan ninyo anuman ang panahon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras at nawa ay nakatulong po ang inyong lingkod para magbigay linaw sa usaping ito dito sa Digital Explainer sa Daily Tribune.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, Hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.
Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Welcome back to Pairfect. We're still here with Maya Colayco. Yes.
Hi,
so,
Dinah.
Comuna.
Yes.
That's a very interesting story, and I'm sure when I go and visit, I'll be hearing more about the tenants
Yes.
and everything that's happening in that place. Are there any plans that you're coming up with for the next months or something to look
Yeah.
forward to?
Yes, kasi a lot of the way we want sort of to bring guests, diba? To bring regulars to Comuna, is we have to announce it by having events, diba?
Right.
So we've actually had a couple of Comuna-wide block parties, which were super fun. So we had one in Chinese New Year called Maximum Chaos. You can see how young, diba? You can see my tenants are very young.
Very, very young.
And very fun. And then we had one in June called Art Block Party, and that was part of an exhibit in one of our spaces.
Okay.
It was an illustrator's exhibit, and he meant the end of it to be Art Block Party, as in writer's block, art block. Basa ko, art block party. Sabi ko, let's make a block party. So we did that. And that was the way we actually got all of our tenants, because at this point, this is June, most of our tenants are either open or almost open.
Okay.
So if we parang blast out the party, all of the food tenants can actually sell their food.
Yeah.
The beer guys are almost ready, even if the space isn't ready. So that's really the way to do it. And then we asked all of our tenants who are not food tenants to prepare something that make it interesting to go. Parang school fair. So my sister, the bookstore, they had a spoken word event.
Nice.
Diba nice? So parang if you go into any of the stores, there's something fun happening. The photographers, the art gallery, the Canlas family that owns the art gallery, their son Erwin is a professional photographer. So what he did, free portraits. He had a wall, like he had a portrait wall, free portraits, and then Manila Middle Ground had like an art market, so stickers, posters. So you had that, and then yun yung vibe. Kaya ang saya. Like then we had DJs, diba? We had DJs, and then we had a couple of bands playing at Goto Monster. So that was the vibe of the art party. So we want to have another one in August or September to mark our first year anniversary of the first guys that opened, diba? Manila Middle Ground and Rise, kasi meron pang hindi bukas, diba? So cute nila because, with the planning of this is not me.
Sila.
It's the community. We really get together. We have parang, maybe once a month, we'll just get together as a group and throw ideas around. How are you doing?
nice.
Kanya community
Wow.
talaga siya. Like, parang, how are you doing? What are your plans? What do you need help with?
Yeah.
And then,
There's no place like this, no, at the moment.
I don't
can't imagine. I don't think so, no. You're setting a trend.
well, kasi you need it, no? Because if these guys are all startups, so you need
Yeah.
to find a way to bring people to what they to them. And luckily, they're all startups, but what they do is all really good. I cannot say
Wala.
wala akong
Parang
pwedeng
creme
sabihin
de la creme
hindi
of
masarap,
talent.
hindi yun. Sarap ng beer, sarap ng tinapay, sarap ng kape, sarap lahat,
Oh
di ba?
my God, tas yung
So,
mga ano,
so
wow.
parang you feel, to nurture the community,
Yeah.
you do these events. So we're gonna have, our first year party is gonna be, you heard it here first, but it's not final. It's gonna be, it's cute children's party kasi we're parang we're 1 year old. So it'll be from them, whatever the tenants wanna do, we'll
That
do
should
that.
be interesting.
Diba? It'll be cute.
Children's party.
Children's party.
Okay.
Na may beer.
Na may beer. Okay.
Tapos
And-
tapos merong, and then each of the stores has their own programming. So, also not just for that day, but during the month, they will have their own programming. That stuff comes out on our IG page, comuna.ph.
Okay, please follow.
Please follow. And then what else? So something that that I think is something we really want to pursue is we're going to have, like, on the more serious side of it, we're planning to have a series of seminars
Okay.
on how to like creative entrepreneurship.
Nice.
Diba? How do you support the tenants? And this is just stuff that comes out from us and our networks. Oh, what do you guys need? Syempre, the grounding, the business grounding of that, diba? So we'll have people talk about that. Tapos, what else? What's available from government services like DTI.
Okay.
Diba? They
Was
have
that your
stuff.
idea?
It emerged from just conversations with each other. Like, oh, may ganyan ka palang kilala. O ganyan, gawa tayo ng something. So that's the one that's gonna be interesting also is, apart from the fun stuff, like the more business stuff of it.
Yeah.
Pero
It's
all
important.
creative enterprises.
I mean, you can't be creative if you're like not running smoothly in the background.
Diba? Yun. So those are some of the things coming up. The fun stuff and the serious stuff.
Balance. Maya, so
Yes.
what was your life like before Comuna?
It was not nearly as much fun as I'm having now.
Tell
diba?
us about the...
So before Comuna, so my this chunk of my life that I'm in now
Yes.
is where I'm a real estate developer. So my project before Comuna was a subdivision in Marikina.
Okay.
O, diba? So this was a subdivision of townhouses.
Okay.
We built 50 townhouses, so I know how to build a subdivision. O, diba?
Okay.
So that's from the planning, forecasting, designing, building, land development, selling, marketing, all of that stuff. So, it's good to have that stuff in the background. I'm not going to say we did great at it, but I know how to do it. O, diba?
But you didn't really give that up when you took
No,
over
no.
managing Comuna, right?
Not at all. So we're just sort of in a pause between projects. So we
Okay.
finished that project.
Okay.
There was a time I was doing both at the same time, but that one started first, so it's finished first.
Okay.
Comuna, we have Comuna. Let's see if, we can have another kind of community. I sort of have
elsewhere.
fallen in love with building communities like this.
Yeah.
Sana there'll be
Actually,
another
it's
one.
right. It's great. It's like a hub for creative
Yes.
people and startups. No?
Yes, yes.
Wow. Yeah, it's nice.
Let's make it happen. We need to grow. We need to grow
Yeah.
these, and we need to grow these businesses.
But before that, you were telling me that you weren't really practicing. and
No. So what
was
I
your
did,
life
so
like?
before this, let's go back to grad school siguro, di ba? Not as far back as college, o di ba?
Pwede rin.
Pwede rin, college, so business major. I worked in government, DTI, BSP,
Okay.
way back
For
in the
how
day.
long?
Long enough to write a really good application to go to grad school.
All right.
Diba? Parang pang-grad. No, basically, I was in I want to say 3, 4, 5 years. And it was
Okay,
like my first
long
job.
enough.
Long enough. Tama. And then I went to grad school in the States, met my husband there.
Okay.
And then we moved to Hong Kong, 03, diba? So we actually got married 03, so I'm revealing. This is post-grad school, early marriage. But anyway, so I wasn't working. I was lucky enough to have a chunk of my life where I was fully supported by my husband. But, and then I worked, and after that I worked in real estate also in Hong Kong, but on the sales side
Okay.
as a broker. That's why. So sabi ko, natikman ko na, di ba? So, I know the hard stuff about
Yeah.
selling muna and then building real estate. So, there's also...
So life really just
Yeah.
brought your path to this, I
to
think,
this.
right?
Yeah, then yun. So I came back after Hong Kong, moved back here because I followed my husband for work. But that's the time when I started the Marikina project, di ba? So that's it. So it's really been government and then real estate, di ba?
Real estate. Okay. What does it take to run a place like Comuna? You being the
I
person to
feel-
see to it, that it's
No,
running
there's
smoothly.
the back end and the front end,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the front end definitely, what I consider my front end is really facing the tenants, right? So it's seeing that they're running well, diba? They're running well, they're doing well. What they need to run their spaces is available to them, right? So that's one. The second part, I think, which is the unique part, is we're building the community, diba?
Yeah.
So that's the part that I feel it's more how we feel it should be. I don't think there's a playbook for community building. Walang
Of course
ganyan, di ba?
not. Yeah.
Walang ganon.
Each community is different, I
Different,
think.
right?
But the core
Yes.
value should be there, right?
Yes, so you just feel it because these are all great people. Every single tenant is really, for me, great. So that's why I say when I'm there, I don't know if I want to work or hang out because they're fun to talk to. They're fun to hang out with, di ba? And they all have their dreams. They all have, as my mother had her eccentric vision
Yes.
of this place, they all have their dreams of what they want to create in this place. So from that, ganda ng conversation, di ba?
I can imagine.
Ibuo mo, ibuo mo lang, parang ibuo mo lang yung yung community that's gonna come out of it. So
Yeah.
that's what it takes to run it. Just keep on talking to them, have get-togethers where you discuss where the community can go, and then people are so great at being respectful of everybody's
Nice.
needs, diba? So they contribute. They're so generous with what they give people.
Talaga?
Parang
Galing.
ito si JJ, for instance, he goes, I'll help you with your I'll help you with your spatial branding. O, di ba? May ganyan siya.
Oh,
Si Erwin.
that's talent.
Yeah,
That's,
walking around. He goes, okay, here's what
priceless.
specifically what you have to do. Erwin, our photographer, so that we can make the Comuna-wide story. Free photo sessions for all the tenants in your space. Oh, where did you find something like that?
Yeah,
Where did you find?
generous.
So there, people help each other. So I think that stems from the di ba, that stems from people genuinely liking each
Yeah.
other and having respect for what the other people create. Yun. Back end admin, make sure the building runs well, di ba?
Yeah,
Make
of
sure the
course,
machinery
nitty-gritty.
runs well, make sure it's clean,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So your days are now filled with just all Comuna
Joy and
stuff.
happiness.
I like that. So, wow. We talked about
Ganda ng smile.
natuwa.
Natuwa.
Okay, so Maya, it's
Yes.
so fun talking with you, and I hope we get to talk some more
Yes,
when
I'd love to take
we
you around
visit.
Comuna.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely so proud of the place.
Ang galing, ang galing.
Yes.
I hope you really do spread that
Yes.
Comuna spirit
Yes.
around all over. Dami ng spaces, di ba?
Oo,
Where you can,
oo.
I think that's a growing thing. Do you think that's a trend now? Like people wanting to live like that?
It would be great,
Diba?
right? I think we need more spaces like this all around. Wherever something can sprout like that, it should be
Diba?
there,
Draw
for sure.
a community
Oo.
together. Okay, I hope that dream comes
Thank you,
true.
Dinah. Thank you so much. It
So-
was wonderful to be here.
Thank you for joining us on Pairfect. Maybe before we end, maybe you'd like to say some words, parting shots,
Parting shot.
invitation.
Well, everybody come to Comuna. Follow us on our IG, comuna.ph. We'll be posting all of our events on the Instagram feed. And if you send a DM, that's more likely than not me responding to you. So if I don't respond to you, it's because I'm doing stuff like this, talking about Comuna to the greater community.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so
Looking
I-
forward to meeting everybody.
So I hope everybody tries to find the time to visit Comuna. And thank you for joining us this afternoon on Pairfect. This has been Dinah Ventura. Join us again next week.
Yay.